Hi all, welcome to my YouTube channel Know About Embedded System. In today's video, we'll be discussing about two important things. One is C programming and about embedded C programming, how both are different and how embedded C we can use in our embedded system development. So that point we'll be understanding in this today's video. So without further delay, let us start video about C and embedded things in today's video then. So let us start video. So C programming language. So I don't take more time to explain about C programming. C programming purely software programming. It is invented by Dennis Ritchie and it is used in almost all our software development applications like operating system development and in our gaming applications and so on, etc. And moreover, C programming is a high level language. Okay. So that everyone knows that C programming is a general purpose programming language which is widely used in desktop applications developed by Dennis Ritchie, and most of the applications we will be using in our software development. Okay. And what are the applications of regular C programming? The regular C programming or C programming, it is used in operating system development, desktop applications, gaming development, database management. These are all major applications. There are a number of applications you can find it, but these are all major applications. Now, so what is this embedded C? So now our scope of this video is to understand the differences between C and embedded C and how embedded C is different from C programming. So let us take example here. If you see here, this snapshot what you're seeing, this is an embedded C programming. And in this embedded C programming, it looks like a regular C programming. If you observe here, this is a C syntax and this is also C syntax and this is C. So all the things what you're seeing here, it is a C programming syntax only. Then what is different in this embedded C? So there is a difference here. You can see these two parameters, and here line number 1. These two are different. That means embedded C is nothing but it is an extension of C programming. Embedded C is derived from C programming. It is basically C programming, and the programming defined or modified for embedded system application is called as an embedded C. So embedded C basically it's an extended version of C programming, and this embedded C is easily access the hardware components. So line number 5 and 6, what you're seeing, these two are hardware component. P0 stands for port 0 and P1 stands for port 1. Using C programming, we can easily access hardware directly. That is why the C programming, which is exclusively defined for embedded application, is called as an embedded C. So with this, let us define the embedded C definition. You can see here embedded C is an extension of C programming and it is used to develop embedded system applications. So this is the fundamental definition of embedded C programming, and why it is used, there are many reasons are there. Why C is chosen for embedded system applications, you can see here. The embedded C easily interact with input and output hardware. Currently what I have shown here, these two are examples. Port 1 and port 2, port 0 and port 1, both are hardwares. Easily we can interact with the hardware, and easily we can interact with the memory addressing. Easily we can operate on fixed point arithmetic operations. Easily we can interact with the peripherals, and easily we can operate on bitwise operations on the registers of your hardware. Because of these many reasons, the C programming is very flexible and C programming is very easy to develop the coding. At the same time, C programming is very easy. Using C programming, it is very easy to access the hardware. And using C programming, especially bitwise operations, we can operate at bit level on the registers. Because of these reasons, C programming is utilized or used in our embedded system application, and that is called as embedded C. So, and embedded C is used to program wide range of micro. There is no restrictions. Any microcontroller you can use, and using C programming or using embedded C programming, you can program any microcontroller. There is no restrictions. That is called embedded C. So embedded C means the C programming which is defined to develop the program for embedded system is called as an embedded C. So why it is used? Because of these reasons: hardware, memory, and all. Hardware, memory accessing, fixed point, bitwise operations, and so on. Okay, so then what are the different features of embedded C programming? Embedded C programming, along with that, so there are special features are there. So as I told already, direct hardware access. So using C programming or using embedded C programming, we can access hardware easily. Directly we can program to the hardware. That is a big advantage of embedded C. And low level programming in the sense register level programming, accessing the hardware and going to the register level and doing the programming is called as low level programming. And efficient memory management, since microcontrollers are coming with a less memory, so very easily we can manage complete memory of your microcontroller, and in an efficient way we can manage the memory. And interrupt handling, so C programming also provides an interrupt handling mechanism, and microcontrollers and embedded system components will come with the different sources of the interrupt. So that is also one big advantage of embedded C. And a real-time constants. So embedded C will provide a real-time applications such as a medical devices, automotive, and various real-time applications where the time will be very crucial. So such places the embedded C plays a very important role. And portability. And portability means you can port the code in the form of hardware abstraction layer. So using hardware abstraction layer, we can easily port from one microcontroller to other microcontroller with the help of HAL. HAL stands for hardware abstraction layer. And then it also supports multi-threading. So C programming or embedded C programming will support multi-threading, and this multi-threading is nothing but operating system like multitasking. So this embedded C also will support multitasking or multi-threading. So these are all the important features of your embedded C programming. The first one, like if you know these points, that's more than enough to explain about embedded C. So one is direct hardware access, low level programming, efficient memory management. Easily we can handle the interrupts and real-time constants, portability, and supporting multi-thread. So what is the difference? What are the differences between C programming and embedded C programming? This is a very important thing you should know. Most of the interview, definitely, if you're attending any interview on the embedded domain, in the embedded domain, definitely you will get the questions. What is the difference between C programming and embedded C programming? So these are all the important differences. If you know this much, that's more than enough. The first major difference is, you can see the first point what it says. The C programming is a general purpose programming language which can be used to design any type of desktop applications. This is what we have already explained in the definition. C programming is nothing but high level programming language which is used to develop very high-end desktop applications, right? So what are the applications? Here you can see the applications includes your gaming applications, operating system, database management, and so on like that, right? That is the definition of C programming. And what embedded C programming says? Embedded C programming says that embedded C is it's an extension of C language. It is 95% same, and only the 5%, 5 to 10% it is differed compared to C programming. It's an extension of C programming, and that is used to develop the embedded system application using microcontrollers. So this is the definition of C and embedded C. And the second point, if you see here, this is a high level and it is just an extension of C programming. This is the first major difference between C programming and embedded C programming. The second major difference between C and embedded C is it integrates nothing but your C programming will integrate various software programming or software applications or software components. It integrates the various systems and application softwares in case of C programming, and in case of embedded C programming, it will integrate, or embedded C will get integrated with the hardware components and firmware. Firmware is nothing but coding again, so it's a software. Embedded C will get integrated in hardware and firmware both. C programming is purely application and various system softwares, and your embedded C programming will be hardware components and firmware. It's going to integrate. Okay. Then the third difference here is C programming is hardware independent, but embedded C is a hardware dependent. Okay, so that means however you change the microcontrollers, however you change the microprocessor, the embedded C programming slightly it will vary. But in case of C programming, it's not like that. So any system you go and run, C programming will be same. There is no syntax change, there is no instruction change. But in embedded C, there will be a slight change in the code program when you change the microcontrollers or when you change the hardware. Okay, so that's called C programming is independent and C embedded C is dependent, hardware dependent. And C is a OS dependent and embedded C is not OS dependent. There is no specific OS, any operating system, nothing but any different RT-based programming we can utilize in embedded C programming, but C programming is OS independent. The next point, if you observe here, the C programming, it uses a different compilers. C programming uses a different compilers. Example, most used examples, GCC compiler and Visual Studio compilers. So these two are like, there are many compilers are there, but just taken two here. But in embedded, it's not like that. For embedded system, we will be using different types of software called as IDE. Special tools are used. Those are all called IDE, Integrated Development Environment, and those are all like this. So Keel and MPLab and many other. Like these two are widely used softwares. Keel and MPLab are used to develop the code and compile the code. The next difference here, if you observe, we are going to use a standard libraries like stdio.h and stdlibrary.h in case of C programming, but in case of embedded C programming, we use the microcontroller specific hardware library files. These two, register 51 and lpc21xx.h, these two are microcontroller specific hardware specific header files, microcontroller specific header file. But in case of C programming, directly a standard header files are used, stdio.h, conio.h, standard library.h, like that. But in case of embedded C, we are going to use a specific microcontroller specific header files. The next difference, it is very easy to modify the code in case of C programming, but embedded C is not easy because every instruction and every line code is dependent on the hardware. Okay, C programming, easily we can change the code. It is very easy to read and modify the C language code, but in case of embedded C, it's not like that. It is easy to modify, but it's going to affect somewhere. So that's why embedded C programming modification is hardware dependent. It easily we cannot modify since it's a hardware dependent programming. And even next point, if you see here, the inputs can be given to the program at any time and however we want. Input can be given to the program while running. So while running only we can give the input, but embedded C, it is not possible. Only predefined inputs can be given with the running program. So we cannot randomly give however we want. Okay, so that is the difference between embedded C. Bug fixing is easier. So I told you already, the programming and modification is easier, and similar to that, bug fixing is easier in C programming, and bug fixing is a little difficult in embedded C because it's a hardware dependent language, and C programming is not hardware dependent language. Okay, and applications, if you see here, already we have discussed about the applications. Applications of C programmings are like operating system development, game development, and database development, and etc. And if you see our embedded applications, our digital cameras, washing machines, automotive domain, DVD, television, and so on, medical devices, and so on. So these are all the differences between C programming and embedded C programming. This is a very important topic. And if you want to develop anything in embedded C, embedded domain, so you should know the differences between C programming and embedded C programming. So I hope this video is clear to all. If you have any questions or if you have any things to ask, please write a comment to us. We'll try to address in the next video. So with this, I want to conclude my video. C programming and embedded C programming and its differences. So if you like this video and share and subscribe my channel to know more about embedded system. So we'll meet you in the next video. Until then, thank you.